Hello everyone, this here is the LEGO Jurassic Park Brachiosaurus Discovery set. It comes with 512 pieces, and I built it live with the wonderful chill community on my Twitch channel. This cost me $80 US, and if you see a view products link on the video, you can click that to see some places you can buy it, and I also have my affiliate link in the description if you're interested. As you see, the set comes with 3 minifigures, Jeep number 18 and the Brachiosaurus, as well as a tree back here, just so you can get a little bit better idea of the overall layout of this. I mean, the main thing to see here as far as overall shape is the tree and the fact that it is covered up around the back. You know, it's not something that's purely a facade, but we'll take a closer look at that. And I'm going to start with a look at the Brachiosaurus because it's the most exciting thing. For scale, here's a minifigure. Then here is Rexy. And then I've got one more. I've got an old long neck dinosaur. The last one that LEGO did properly. See, height is in almost the same range, but the overall bulk is completely different. The color is just a light gray or modern light bluish gray, and then they've got sand blue as the alternate there. The mouth is able to open and close. The head is able to turn up and down, and it's also able to rotate around like this, which is good for looking at things on the ground. You've got printing going all the way down the back of the neck. That's fairly consistent here. And then there's the most controversial thing, the bottom of neck joint there, which gives it enough room to do this, which honestly isn't a whole lot, and then to go back up. So you get that and that. I really was hoping for at least one more click to get this a little bit lower. You can cheat it if you want by turning this upside down and then trying to do something like that. Well, yeah, there we go. So you can make that happen if you need to, but it's even more awkward that way with the print reversed and an even larger appearing gap right here at the top. This is the thing that most people like the least, and I completely understand that. It's disappointing that we had to have a major gap just in the way that they decided to design it. This is all essentially one piece. I don't believe that it's originally made as one piece, but it's fused together at the end. So you have no articulation in the legs. It just comes like this, just one big old body. Nice printing all the way around, but it is just one thing with the 3 rows of 2 studs on the top. So you can put a couple things on the top, and then it has a standard large tail on the back, which can be rotated around, and everything is attached with Technic pin compatible connectors. And then you just got the ratchets here, which are embedded. Soft tail, soft tip. The height of the tree included is pretty perfect for the animal because it can get right up there and get access to many of the leaves at several levels. Can't go, well, it can go down to here. So you can kind of fake that in, just lean it forward a little bit. And you can grab those lowermost, most juicy leaves down there. So that works. And I think that the overall amount of canopy that's here, the amount of foliage that's here is satisfactory. The branches look a little bit weird. There are a couple different styles to them. But for example, I feel like this is a much better tree than the ones included in the A-frame cabin or in front of the bookstore. It feels a little bit more believable to me. Even though it's intended to be a toy, I want it to feel like a tree and not just a plastic stump. There are a number of joints in here that you can rotate around to change some of the posing of some of the boughs here. You've got the dark green and olive color for the leaves, including the dark green color for the single leaf piece that's made in ABS or hard plastic. You can stand up here if you want to. So you've got the platform, and then down at the base is the little nest where an egg has hatched. Sign off to the side, and then some nice coral colored flowers going around the base, and also going up to the top, including one that's been conveniently replaced by the all-important frog reference that every one of these sets has to have. And then around the back, they made this much rounder than on the front. Maybe a little bit of a baobab, however you choose to pronounce that, wherever you live in the world, that kind of feel to it, which works well enough for me, although the shape of the canopy isn't like that. Again, it's fine to me. Yeah, no real complaints with this as a toy tree, and I think it's fine on display next to the animal. The Jeep is kind of great. It's actually better than I expected. It feels better to me as a toy in particular, mostly because of the stance and the fact that these tires are wider than they should be for realism, and they stick out farther than they should for realism. It makes it feel like a toy to me in the best way. It feels beefy. It feels strong. It feels like it's ready to take on some off-road terrain. You grab it. It's got the relatively soft rubber with the treads being as long as they are, and yet having the thinner ridges. It just grabs the ground nicely. The overall proportions immediately tell you Jeep. It is a licensed Jeep product, in fact, including the printed, very, very heavily trademark protected grille design there. Although that's not ideal. I think the front end is probably the weakest. This core section right here is probably the weakest of it design-wise. But the build, I think, is fine for, again, a toy grade thing, not something that's at the Speed Champions level. That's a sticker right there. Pretty much all the decorations you see on here are done with stickers, but you can align them, I think, pretty well. The color blocking is very good, including the red up here, the dark tan back here. You got the full spare on the back and everything. Like, there's just a lot about this that's done really, really right. I feel like it could have been more realistic, but I would have liked it less, again, as a toy, if it was more realistic. So I'm happy with this. The build honestly wasn't that exciting. It was kind of basic, but the end result is what matters. The interior looks good. You got spots for 3 minifigures to sit on the sand green. So one driver, 1 passenger up front, 1 passenger in the back, and then you can put a second passenger on the rear deck there on the gray studs just in front of the spare wheel and tire. So you're not able to get 2 people side by side in the back, but this is, I think, a respectable compromise. Opening doors would have been great here, would have been really, really great, but I think, again, reasonable compromise here to be able to at least have 4 minifigures on this and then drive around with it without having too much hassle. Speaking of hassle, getting minifigures into vehicles sometimes can be difficult, or getting them where they need to be in any kind of build, but this makes it super easy because you just turn the roll cage back, put them in, and then there you go, good to go. Here are all the minifigures in the set, Alan, Ellie, and Dr. Hammond. I think that the coral color for Ellie Sattler's top is sublime. It looks wonderful. I think that the print for her shorts looks weak as heck, especially as soon as you turn it a little bit. Almost everything is wrong about that. Given that the skin tone is not opaque enough, and then you have no printing around the side, dual molding would have been nice. It's definitely weak, but the torsos really help to make up for it. Also, the hip print there helps make up for it. Torsos for all 3 of these, I think, are very good. The character appropriate props are also great to see. Good prints around the backs of those torsos. And because of the choice of headgear, only one of them is able to have an alternate face. These are the leftover parts with a handful of as yet uncommon colors, and the sticker sheet is kind of small. Again, I paid $80 US for this. It is 85 euros, 75 pounds UK, and $100 Canadian, which on paper translates to approximately 75 US dollars. I'm not surprised at that price. Big Lego animals always cost a lot, more than you expect, at least certainly more than I expect. I think folks who only look at the price to part ratio, I can't have a conversation with, honestly, because that just doesn't make sense. You have to look at what's actually in the set. I personally, I'm just not shocked at the price here for this amount of stuff, considering that there is a very large animal, one of the largest ever that they've made. The tree is fine. The Jeep is great. The figures are fine. The big animal, I'm glad that we have it. So glad that we have it. Definitely disappointed in this neck, and disappointed that we don't get any articulation in the legs. Just something, just like the old ones where you could have the front 2 legs move, or just the rear legs at least, to get it to be able to rear up. And being that limited in its standard articulation, being able to go down, then having the big gaps, all that is rough. So there are reasons for all of those things. But I really do personally wish that this was better. And that takes away from the value to me. If this was done better, I would feel much more comfortable with the price. But again, as it is, the value is expensive as I would expect, for Lego and 2023 in particular. But yeah, hopefully at least I've shown you things that you need to see to come to your own conclusion about it, whether this is worth it to you or not. If you think it's not worth it to you, but let's say you only want that minifigure, or you just want the Jeep, or you just want that minifigure or something like that, definitely look into options other than buying the entire set to get those things, just those things that you want. You know, Bricklink is out there, eBay, people will part things out. Bricks and Pieces online, or Pick a Brick now it is, gives you options for some parts and things. So definitely, if you don't want this whole set but you want one thing, try to get just the one thing that you want, because I don't think that this is a set that's so good that you've just got to have it even if you don't want it. I don't think there's any major positive surprise that you're going to get here that you haven't seen already. Hope that's of value to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.